Let's go to Indianapolis, to the Butler Bulldogs, and how about the way that they have just defined consistency? And they were already achieving that in their pre-Big East days, but that's why they have been such a welcome addition to the reconfigured conference as we enter the sixth season of Big East men's basketball. Take a look at this. These are some staggering numbers that just show you what they've been able to do. What stands out to me, 11-1 in their last 12 NCAA tournament first round games. 11-1. So 11 out of the last 12 appearances for them, they've been one of the final 32. I mean, you can't take something like that for granted. And of course that top one of just 8 programs to win at least one game in each of the last 4 big dances. All of those are in the Big East. I mean, that's racking up W's and repping the conference. 43 consecutive home non-conference wins, and they take that into Saturday when they'll take on Miami of Ohio on Fox Sports Networks. That's only behind Arizona and Duke, by the way, for non-conference home winning streaks. Arizona and Duke. That speaks for itself. So, the second-year head coach, LaVall Jordan, he's got a Big East Player of the Year candidate in his point guard, Kamar Baldwin, who was also named to the Naismith watch list, one of 6 Big East players, by the way. What does Coach Jordan have in store for his second year? Here he is now. What was it like taking over this program at the time that you did?
Yeah, it was unique. It was, most of those changes happen in March, April, and you've got time to hire staff, move your family, get organized, see who's staying, who's going with all the signees. Obviously, my press conference was a week before first summer classes, so it's a bit compressed. And add on top of that, we had the foreign trip to Spain. But that actually allowed us to jump into basketball and develop relationships early with the trip and the 10 practices and 10 days, out of the country. And so, I think all coaches, you just kind of next play. You have a next play mindset. And so as soon as you get in, it's okay, what's next? And you just kind of chop down the list and move on.
Your players say the Butler way rolls on, and you told that to me last year when you took over. When you took over and another coach on a long line of coaches that have had success, and the culture, the tradition, the program is there. Was it that easy to walk in and be able to, say to those guys, like the buy-in was there immediately? Was it as easy as it sounds?
Yeah, I think, you have to have talent, which we were talented in, but you have to have culture. And I think that part is you had the buy-in from a culture standpoint. Many times you take over a program and you're rebuilding and trying to establish a culture. So the unique thing about me coming here as a former player is, it's something I believe in. These guys all had signed up, regardless of who the coach was at the time. It's something they believed in. So we didn't have to have a ton of conversations about the culture piece and how we do things and how we operate. It was more the relationship piece and getting an understanding of one another, our staff, and connecting with the guys and getting them to trust, what we were asking them to do, because some things changed on the court, but not off.
What's the combination of Big East basketball meeting Hinkle magic?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that was one of the most thrilling things for me coming back and being in the Big East is just the night in, night out, and hosting. All the teams in the league here at Hinkle. I love the round robin, where everybody has to come here. And I think our fans and I know our players do. And so, I think that was something that took me aback is just the level, obviously, of coaching. So we had to be prepared. Our guys have to raise their level to match, because there's really good players and teams and programs on the other side. And so, it's the best in the country, and I'm glad we're a part of it.
Kamar Baldwin is looked at as a guy who can contend for Big East Player of the Year, and then some. What stands out to you about the way that he's evolved here heading into his junior season?
Yeah, you start with Kamar as just a great person. He's yes sir, no sir. Yeah, he's all eyes on the coach, and when you're teaching or talking with him, unbelievable family, and so it makes him, very, very special. I think, he's a Butler guy through and through. He has a lot of pride in wearing that uniform and being a part of this community, and so He walks out every day and puts in the work necessary to carry that load. I think he's changed his body. That's the first thing you notice about coming back into this season. He put in a lot of work to add some weight, good weight, and get stronger and to handle the physicality of it. He understands where the attention's going to be. He's put in a ton of work in the film room to just make sure to get reads better in terms of what he's looking at offensively. He plays really hard on both ends, and that makes him special because a lot of guys are one way, and Kamar gives great effort on both ends of the floor. And so, excited for him to get out there, and I think everybody on this roster is encouraging him to just play with a healthy amount of confidence.
It's one thing that's specific with this program, it seems like, is off the court there have been moments of adversity, tragedies in some ways, different, deaths have been so unfortunate, but, you fight on. It seems like that there's a collectiveness between past, present, whatever it is. Why does that happen?
I think a lot of teams and a lot of programs say family, but do they really mean it? I think here it has a very true and genuine meaning, and so these guys, they go through it together. And if you go down our roster, individually, they've all been through something. Their stories are unbelievable. If you sit down with a few of them and just talk to them about how they got to Butler in the first place, and what they've gone through up to this point. And so that builds a connection, and because they're not alone. And then when you have things that are so close to you going on, Joel Cornette and Andrew Smith, Emerson Campen, those things you become family, and you spend so much time together. And I think that grows the fight, for each other when you're out there together. And one way you can prove that your family is, out on the court when there's an opponent.
The Butler way has rolled right on with LaVall Jordan, and it was really intriguing to go to Butler practice. He is a true teacher in the way that he breaks down the game. And if you are a Dogs fan, you are going to want to stay tuned throughout the season for some really special coverage. More to come on Butler along the way this week. You're going to have a lot of fun catching this team all throughout the season as part of our coverage. We turn